Look, Israel-Gaza, it's an issue that divides the Democratic coalition. Fair enough. And in a Democratic primary, it's probably helpful to be more pro-Gaza, pro-Palestinian. But man, you're running in a general election and you got to appeal to people across the board. And this is principally a pro-Israel country. I think if she had come out and been to the left of Biden on that issue, I think she'd have been smoked because there would have been so many moderate voters who would have just said to hell with it. And I even talked to so many Democratic Jewish voters who hated Trump, who ended up voting for Trump because they didn't think she was strong enough with Israel. So it's a good question.
And that's why I completely lose not my mind, but I get baffled. I heard this. I heard she's anti-Semitic. I heard she's not pro-Israel. I mean, Trump said that a lot. She's not pro-Israel. At one point, Trump said she hates Israel. Forget that she's married to a Jewish man, although I think that's important. Forget that she was literally collecting money to grow trees in Israel since she was a kid. I mean, I've had private conversations with Kamala Harris. The last conversation I had with Kamala Harris on the phone was on this issue. She said, "I'll call you right back." I haven't heard back. I don't think that you could have a more pro-Israel position than Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, or I think Democrats and Republicans, sadly, are equally pro-Israel on this thing. So,
I agree. I think I guess part of the problem with her, Mark, is like you and I knew where Biden was on Israel. And from your perspective, he was probably too pro-Israel. From my perspective, he wasn't pro-Israel enough. But, Biden had a history. But it's like people didn't know Kamala's history on that issue. And this was part of her problem, Mark, was it was never really fleshed out where she stood on a lot of issues. To your point, as a good, sincere guy on the left, she moved to the middle the minute she got the nomination. She used people like me, Republicans for Harris, me and Liz Cheney out there on the trail with her. That probably didn't endear her to her progressive base, right?
No, it bothered me.
Yeah.
It bothered me.
I get it.
She would do that. I mean, I get that you and Liz and
I get it.
At some point, Dick Cheney, Karl Rove. It was like, okay, we get it. You're moving to the right.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of us on the left who are asking you to give us a reason to vote for you. And she says, more Republicans. She says, more right-wing policy. It's like, it was weird to me.
I hear it.
I get the argument of saying, hey, look, I want to show you, particularly as a Democrat Black woman who's been called crazy, extremist, left wing, all that stuff. She's just trying to say, look, they like me over here. They trust me. If Dick Cheney trusts me, like that should say something.
And Mark, by the way, to support your point, and I bet you and I agree on this, back in 2016, if Bernie were the Democratic nominee, because Bernie was a populist, Bernie was outside the system. That's what America wants. That's part of Trump's appeal. So I do agree with you. And even though I'm not a man on the left, a leftist populist I think would have more success than just kind of a corporate candidate like Kamala, and you don't really know where she is.
Yeah, I think that's right. All right. So I only got you for a few more minutes. I got to ask you. I know we will have a full conversation later. But
Don't you dare start it.
I got to at least ask you, why are you pro-Israel?
I think, again, we can't start it. I just, look, I love life. I love peace. I want everybody to live in peace. I think Israel's like a miracle. I think Israel stands for all that's good. And I know Israel has always believed in peace. They want to live side by side with Arabs and Muslims and blah, 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 all God's children. I just think Israel it's entrepreneurial. It's about freedom. It's about loving everybody. I think it's a gift to humanity. But Mark, don't start yet. We'll get into it.
You literally have me here about to I was deciding whether I should fling myself off this chair or whether I should kill myself with this back scratcher.
Tell me, all right, but answer me this, Mark, and then we'll stop it and we will continue it one day. Tell me, educate me, what is your principal criticism of Israel? And go and just say what you feel.
Okay. I'll give you my abbreviated 60, maybe 90-second version.
Do it. Fire away, my friend.
I would disagree with every let me change the subheading before I answer this.
And we will have a conversation about this because I think it's so important. I just pissed off your whole audience. I apologize.
Oh, they were already pissed off. Don't worry. They already anticipated your response. So I think you met their expectations.
Should you fire away? Give me your 60-second thesis.
Here's the argument. One, I don't think Israel is a miracle any more than the United States or Australia or New Zealand are miracles, right? It would be a miracle if they somehow were able to create a democratic nation without oppressing people, without exploiting or displacing people. But Israel is a nation that was formed on the dispossession of Palestinian people, on land theft, on death, on removal of people, on expulsion, on literally burning down hundreds of villages, on denying and defying international law. There's over 100 years of oppression of Palestinian people that produces in Israel the idea that people could form a nation or already have a nation and create a nation state for themselves to be free of oppression. I like, but you can't jump out of the burning buildings of Europe or Yemen or Egypt or wherever and land on the backs of Palestinian people. I have no issue with sharing land. I have no issue with people finding land and finding freedom. But Israel is not a project of sharing land. It's not a project of democracy. It's a project of exclusivity. Israel is a nation that is an ethno state. It's unfortunately Jewish supremacy. And so their liberation and freedom is coming at the expense of other people. And it would be like me telling a Native American here that America is a miracle. I couldn't look at a Native American here and say, look how amazing this democratic nation is. It would be awful.
And Mark, I really appreciate your perspective. Let me ask you one quick question, because then we're done. And we'll continue this. Do you think peace is possible in the Middle East?
I think peace is possible anywhere, but I think that there are two problems. One, as Gil Scott-Heron said from The Last Poets, everybody loves peace. Problem is, can't make no money off of it. There's too much investment in the military. There's too much investment in weaponry. There's too much investment in all of these deals, whether it's the Abraham Accords or whatever. Historically, there's just been too much money. The U.S.'s special relationship with Israel begins with weapon sales. If you think about the Kennedy era, I mean, it's peace is possible, but there's no peace where there's capitalism. But then the other piece of that is, justice has to be a precondition for peace. There will never be peace as long as there's injustice. And so unless there is a fair resolution to Israel-Palestine, and I don't care what that is, it's not for me to decide. I don't think it's for you to decide. I think it's but whatever that is, until that happens, there won't be peace. And there shouldn't be peace.
And this is a great place to end, because you very concisely gave me your viewpoint, and that helps me. You said there can't be peace without injustice. And I hear that. That's interesting. I would say there can't be peace, and don't you come back after me, because we'll continue this. There can't be peace as long as one side, I would argue, the Palestinian side, just doesn't believe the other side has a right to exist. Until that changes, you'll never have peace.